thank you for all the presenters. We'll continue to look at some of the CloudStack elements. And so one of the things that CloudStack has is the virtual router, which includes a lot of the network capabilities that CloudStack introduces. We're going to take a look at how that's constructed. So, in a shared network, virtual router is deployed once per network. And what it does is it provides DHCP and DNS functionalities for the VMs in that particular network. This would be in a shared network. A shared network is something that's more like Amazon's flat network. When advanced zone is being used, then the router is deployed per account or more per network in that account. So every network has their own routing functionalities. And virtual router can serve in isolated VMs, even if deployed on a different hypervisor. So it could be on a completely different hypervisor as long as the same VLAN has been trunked to two different hypervisors, then it can be connected together. And then virtual router can do NAT for the VMs. So let's take a look at inside the virtual router. The virtual router, when it starts, it has three different NICs. The first NIC is connected to the guest network. This is the NIC that serves as the gateway for the VMs in that network. And the second NIC resides on link local or the management network. So it is on a link local network because we wanted to conserve, we had customers who wanted to conserve the IP addresses used for the host, and so we put it on link local. But on VMware, that's not possible. So for VMware, it's actually on the management network itself. And to program the virtual router, the CloudStack would actually SSH in via this link local network and add rules and things like that to the virtual router. And ETH2 resides on the public network, and it can be assigned an IP address. And as the user acquires new IPs, if the new public IPs coming in actually is on a different VLAN than other public IPs, then there will be more and more NICs created because each one of them is on a different VLAN. And up to, I think, 6.0, SendServer did not support the idea of chunking VLANs into VMs. So we had to create different VMs, to create different NICs for anything, for IP addresses that are on different VLANs. And in the default isolated mode, we would use SourceNet on the virtual router, but then you can add other rules such as static NAT and load balancing. So let's take a look at the virtual router OS. It is created from Debian 6, the 2.6.32 kernel, and we've applied security patches as we find necessary. It's 32-bit for enhanced performance, and it's mainly because 32-bit actually has less requirement than 64-bit when it's doing connection tracking and things like that for memory. And we only put in essential software packages, so things like printing, FTP, Telnet, X, DNS, Sendmail are not installed. SSHD only listens on the management or link local interface. On the private and on the management interface. The SSH port has been changed to a non-standard port. SSH logins are using keys, and the keys are generated during install time, so it's unique for each customer. is a per-virtualized kernel with per-virtualized drivers and for CenServer and for KVM Virch.io drivers and VMware tools for optimum performance on each hypervisor. CentOOls is also included so that you can do performance monitoring on the virtual environment. So the template is built from scratch, so that it doesn't have any old logs or history. So you're not looking at someone else's information. And latest versions of HA proxy, which is used to do load balancing, is a software load balancer. IP table, IPsec, and Apache from the Debian and repository is put on. And the latest JRM is put onto the latest Java runtime is put on there. And the things that we can run on it is basically load balancing and static NAT, port forwarding, and we also have VPN and site to remote access VPN running on it. Okay, that's what I have for the virtual R. Any questions? Okay.
これはリアルとはまた違った実装が入っている。すみません。これは独自のルーターでリアクタとはまた全然別のプロダクトだと思っててよろしいですか。
Are you asking about Viata? So I think Viata is also working on a replacement, but I haven't heard about what they have done. And I have actually visited customer sites where they use Viata to do to be the gateway back to the customer, to their end users' data center, and that's deployed within CloudStack. But they deploy that outside of CloudStack's orchestration. They actually provide orchestration on top of CloudStack to do that.
仮想ルーターはビアッタじゃないです。
ないです。
はい。
I'm not hearing any translations.